Welcome back to this very special edition of Houston Life, live from Sam Houston Race Park under the Big Top.
Performers and crew aren't resting right now. They're training to be sure that they are ready when the lights go up.
Mel Camp right is
showing us. It's very hard to focus here. Mel Camp is showing us behind the scenes what it takes. Mel.
Oh yes, guys, look at this. Look at all the action that is going on here backstage. This is the artistic tent of Cirque du Soleil ECHO. And oh my goodness, it's such an honor to be able to chat with you.
Thank you.
Lee McDermott, you are the head coach of ECHO by Cirque du Soleil. And you're kind of the man that runs all of the action that's going on. I mean, we're seeing a lot of action going on over your shoulder.
Yep.
Wow, a lot goes into putting on your performances. Can you just explain, how many performances are you guys doing a year compared to the average athlete?
We do around 376 shows per year.
That's more than a show a day.
Yes, sometimes 2 shows a day, and on a Saturday, sometimes 3 shows a day.
3 shows, and when you think like ECHO is about 3 hours, I mean the intermission's in there, but that is a long stretch for these guys to be peak performing, doing their work.
Yes, so it's not a sprint, it's a marathon on a Saturday.
So you're a marathon coach basically.
I do my best.
All right, explain to people exactly what you do as a coach for Cirque du Soleil.
So as a head coach, you're looking at all of the acrobatic content of the show, making sure that we keep to a certain standard and expectation, but we also try to evolve and grow the show. As the head coach, you're also looking after health and safety. Okay,
so you were head coach of the New Zealand Olympic team. You yourself have been a gold medalist, Commonwealth gold medalist. Yes. You went to Atlanta Olympics as a gymnast.
Yes.
You know what goes into being a successful professional gymnast. How does it compare, like regular gymnastics, to the sort of work that these gymnasts are doing on stage every night with Cirque du Soleil?
Yeah, well, gymnastics, you have a very, I wouldn't say strict routine, but there's certain things you do every day. But on this show, I have many different types of acts that I have to work with. So I'm working with teeter boards, I'm working with hair hanging, I'm working with trapeze, sports acrobatics. So there's a whole array of different types of disciplines that we have on the show. And so I'm jumping from one act to another act to another act, so I have to keep switching kind of what I'm doing. We have the artistic tent where we're training, as you can see right now. We also have the training that we do on stage.
Oh my goodness, it's amazing. And I mean, look at this. I loved this part of the show where they were balancing these boxes. Wow! Action for us. I mean, that just goes to show how difficult it is. Each of those boxes are just a couple of pounds, but once they all go on top, it gets pretty heavy.
But that's what we train for.
That's what you train. Okay, so this is the purple mat.
Yes.
And then behind us over here, this is really interesting because we had just before a bunch of the gymnasts were watching this TV monitor and they were watching back. So that's a big part of it.
That's the kind of area where we'll get together, talk about things that went well today, things that were a challenge, and then once we've done that, we come back and we do a little bit of training. Just depends on the day.
And then there's like a gym here. We've got people working out.
So we have a gym here. We also have a strength and conditioning coach that I work with to make sure that the health and safety and the requirements are met from a strength training perspective.
Wow, and you also have physiotherapists on the team. So, I mean, this is really, would you say it's more like working with athletes than it is working with performers and actors on a stage?
It's a bit of both.
Yeah?
It's a bit of both. So as a coach, you also have to have that artistic part of you as well, and you have to understand how things work. But the one thing that I really love versus sport is that when we make decisions, we make it as a team. So me with the artistic director and the physio department, we're as one collective.
A lot of the acts that we see on stage in any Cirque show look amazing, but really there's a lot of risk. You said before that you have to look into like the risk of a performance. We don't really think about, like, yes, if you do a regular, I suppose a floor routine as a gymnast, and then you're up on doing something like that, but then there's a whole lot more moving parts when you're on the stage. There's the lights, there's the speed at which you need to change over your harness and all of that sort of stuff. How do you work with the performers to be ready to do all of that?
Well, part of my job is to bridge the gap between also the technical team, the artistic team, the artists, making sure that each component is looked at. So again, like I said, it wasn't just a me, it's a we part, and then I work with the technical team to make sure each component is done in the correct way, and that means that's the health and safety of the artist, which we put first.
What do you think is one thing that people, when they watch the show, just don't realise goes in, or there's something, just, I don't know, like a fun fact that we might not know, but then we're better off for knowing it?
Well, it's hard because you mentioned earlier that you were kind of mesmerized by the show, and that's the whole point of the show, is that you don't know all of these things that happen in the background. So it's kind of nice when people start watching the show and all of a sudden it's finished and you're like, wow, that was amazing. But the one part that, you know, there's just so many moving parts that happen behind the scenes, and again, it's understanding that each department and each person has a role and responsibility to make sure that ECHO is seamless for you guys watching the show.
Oh my gosh, well, it is an amazing show. Yeah, I mean, I felt like it was a 3-hour meditation, just like absolutely beautiful. And so, yeah, it's so wonderful to be able to be behind the scenes and see all this hard work going into making what is just like a gift for those of us in the audience. Lee, thank you so much for your time. I know you're really busy.
Awesome.
And these guys are busy training, so we're going to leave them to it, but I'm going to send it back to you guys, Derek and Tessa.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Mel, thanks so much for that.